Healthy People 2020 has placed a new emphasis on well-being that's both well-being is both critical and complementary to health. While they're not synonymous, they certainly impact one another. The Healthy People 2030 definition of health and well-being is intended to reflect the ability to experience optimism, to express gratitude, to seek personal growth and autonomy. It should reflect a sense of security and satisfaction, being able to flourish psychologically, to be able to balance emotions, both positive and negative, flourish spiritually, to meet personal and collective needs. It entails being part of a supportive community and being able to both provide and receive support and contribute towards the common good. We've talked a lot about social determinants of health within this ECHO community, and Healthy People 2030 has also placed a large emphasis on social determinants of health as addressing these are needed and imperative if we're going to achieve or even progress towards health equity and well-being for all. So a parallel framework that I'd like to talk a little bit about today is the vital conditions for well-being. Vital conditions, like vital signs, tell us what's going on with our body. Vital conditions tell us and reflect what's going on in the world around us. It's a useful framework for conceptualizing conditions and factors that contribute towards holistic well-being. And I took a bunch of this information from the WIN network, WIN standing for Wellbeing in the Nation, which is a growing strategic network that's working together to advance a collaborative cross-sector approach to improving and advancing intergenerational well-being and equity. So the first of the 7 vital conditions is a thriving natural world. A thriving natural world means that we have clean air, clean water, clean land, a well-functioning ecosystems that are free from environmental hazards. We know that a poor environment contributes to health problems. Climate change and severe weather events that it produces threaten the health and well-being of all of us, and frankly, disproportionately impact poor communities and communities of color. Within striving for a thriving natural world, we have to recognize that those conditions are distributed inequitably, and it's part of achieving equity demands that we take care of our planet. Basic needs for health and safety. These are the particular requirements for physical and mental survival. So everything from access to clean air and water, access to nutritious food, a balance of physical activity and sleep, a safe home and safe relationships. We need to feel safe from violence, from crime, oppression, toxic stress. We need to be able to avoid hunger, exhaustion, and injury. Basic needs for health and safety asks us to look at things like poverty, racism, adverse childhood events, mass incarceration, chronic illness, addiction, gender equity, healthcare, and community design when we're striving for equity and well-being. Humane housing, and I had a little bit of fun with playing this slide set this time, so I don't know if any of you will recognize this house. It's intended a little tongue-in-cheek, but humane housing is an essential vital condition. We can thrive when we have secure, consistent places to live, when homes and neighborhoods are free from hazards. Affordable housing is a major factor in financial well-being, and yet it's the biggest expense for many Americans, especially as housing costs grow at a more rapid rate than the average income does. Home ownership contributes to intergenerational wealth or lack thereof, and housing stability, safety, quality, and affordability are all things that impact health outcomes. Meaningful work and wealth, one that ties quite into our integrated care ECHO and Project ECHO overall. Income prevents material and social deprivation. People flourish when they are doing meaningful, productive, and rewarding work. Meaningful work can uplift entire communities. Being able to afford a computer and the internet opens up avenues to be able to participate more fully in work, school, and the community, including the global community. Broadband internet access has become so necessary to fully function within modern society that the UN has actually declared it a basic human right. This vital condition invites us to evaluate employment practices, retirement security, wages, the economy, the myth of mobility, and historical and present day housing and employment discrimination. Lifelong learning. Lifelong learning is about high quality, good education for all across all phases of life. Having supportive, equitable learning environments. A supportive, equitable learning environment sets children on a path to maximize their capacity to learn and positively shape their social, emotional, and behavioral development. Education is an engine of social mobility. Reliable transportation. Transportation options absolutely influence access to jobs, to social connectedness, and to healthcare. Active transportation is something that's incorporated in here, which would incorporate physical activities, so things like biking and walking. Those definitely improve health and well-being, but access to affordable, reliable, and safe transportation enables access to all of the other basic necessities. Belonging and civic muscle. The seventh vital condition, it really asks us to look at social connectedness and relationships. Fulfilling relationships are necessary to thrive. Being part of a community, contributing to its vibrancy, all of that promotes well-being. Social cohesion strengthens collective attachments, and higher levels of social cohesion are associated with higher levels of trust, cooperation, and social capital. Building a civic infrastructure through which we can co-create a shared future. Feeling valued and cared for within a community allows us to feel more confident and more willing to engage and participate within the community, thus contributing to change and collective growth. Part of this is flexing civic muscles through voting, advocacy, political engagement. But we do have to be careful to avoid polarization for all of the reasons we've seen played out very overtly this week. We know that it can quickly tear a civil society apart if it becomes too polarized. So while we strive to create a positive, equitable society, let's not forget that belonging is a partner to civic muscle. Connection and relationships are the things that can foster social change. So in summary, the vital conditions for well-being persist over generations. We inherit them and from generations before us, and we confer them to future generations. They shape our exposures, opportunities, adversities, and choices. Each condition is critical in its own right, and they work together to produce legacies. When these vital conditions are widely shared and assured for all, more people thrive. By enhancing and assuring vital conditions, we will hopefully leave a legacy that is a little bit better than the one that we inherited. And those are my references, largely from, like I said, the WIN Network and Community Commons, which are both really great resources.